Is Brock Lesnar underrated? And welcome back again, guys. Well, this is Mikeratto. I'm sorry that, I didn't post a video for almost a month or so because, I have some other priorities. Well, for now, we're going to, slowly make some videos in this channel. Though I apologize that I was so inactive during this past few weeks, days, even. I haven't posted the video in a month. So yeah, Brock Lesnar is actually underrated. Why? Well, here's why. Well, I know that someone is gonna comment here on this video down below. Well, this is actually inaccurate. Well, I know, and I'm going to stop you there. Just listen for a second. And I'm gonna tell you why. Why it's actually, it's my opinion. Yeah, this is for the sake of the video. I will also create the quite opposite of this video also. So yeah, when it comes to people actually criticizing him for being a part-timer, he's the the person who people actually pointed to when they see a part-timer who actually wins title after title after title after title, achievement after achievement in the world of professional wrestling. Well, besides this achievement, what makes Brock Lesnar underrated? Well, for starters, we have to discuss a lot of things, like people actually being under appreciative of this guy. We have a gem who has the physique, which it presents a fighter, a wrestler, and yeah, Brock Lesnar being Brock Lesnar here. And he has a lot of achievements also outside of the WWE. So what makes him underrated in the WWE? Well, we need to talk about the entertainment factor. People will say, why Mikeratto? Why do you think that Brock Lesnar is actually underrated in the entertainment factor? Well, if you see his segments with the Brock Party, during his face run with Kurt Angle in 2003, I want you to view those videos and tell me, is actually Brock Lesnar being underrated? People are actually criticizing him for his current run from 2012. They are actually underappreciative of that. When it comes to his wrestling abilities, it is actually people actually claiming that he has suplex after suplex. If you watch his wrestling matches in 2002, that's the second factor of this. People are overshadowed by the suplex city gimmick, which yeah, it's always suplex, and people are thinking that he is overrated. But if you look at his 2002 matches, even his 2012 match with Cena, you will see that he created this aura of being this huge beast, this huge monster, which it is actually that him being presented in that way because he was presented to be this dominant person. And when you're presented to be this dominant person, people will expect that you will dominate the match. And that's what he is doing. If you watch his 2002 matches, you will see a lot of his movesets. Not just the suplex thing, not just the knees. Yeah, but we're going to focus more on his entertaining side. If you watch a lot of those videos that I pointed out earlier, you will see that it's not just him being given Paul Heyman and then dancing in the ring, because that's what people actually remember him by. Because Paul Heyman gives most of the things that requires for a promo maker, for a guy like Brock Lesnar who will do the actions. Guys like Brock Lesnar who actually presents of a actions speak louder than words. When you see Kane in 1997 up to 1998, he doesn't speak that much until Paul Bearer broke up with him in the managerial role, and then turning on him and becoming, well, the Undertaker's manager yet again in 1998. While you saw those persons, while you see like the Undertaker also before, who actually, well, doesn't speak much, but Paul Bearer actually speaks for him. Well, that's the role of the managers or advocates or ballets for the women or whichever, well, they call those, well, managers. Well, they have this aura which, well, they had been the ones who will express the promos, the thinking, the mindset of the rivalry, pointing out to the rival of their managed wrestler. For example, when we have Brock Lesnar and Paul Heyman, whoever is Brock Lesnar feuding during that time, while Paul Heyman speaks in behalf of Brock Lesnar. When it comes to his entertaining facts, well, you have to see when he was actually invested in a storyline. When he was performing these comedic skits with Kurt Angle, the two having a competition, the two having this friendly rivalry in 2003 when Kurt Angle actually had his face turn, while the two had this, well, entertaining segments because, well, there's no Paul Heyman, there's no, well, for them to have a heel on one part of them, and while they're both expressing themselves. When you see the Brock party thing, while Paul Heyman was there and still speaking with Brock Lesnar, but you have, or actually speaking in behalf of Brock Lesnar, but you have to see his actions when he performs during those times. While they actually modified his song, and one occurrence, well, they had this remix of some song, which, well, Brock Lesnar's actually dancing, which, well, it was actually funny when you think about it. Well, wrestlers sometimes do different things for the entertainment of the people, and when you see, well, guys like Brock Lesnar who does different things, well, people are actually more invested rather than his mute self with Paul Heyman. But there's nothing wrong with that because, well, that's his character. Well, you have to think that this mute Brock Lesnar who actually, well, does all the actions in the ring, who creates carnage, well, that's his character for most of time because, well, it actually presents his dominant self. Well, the fighter, the guy who actually made people tap out, well, who actually dominated in the UFC before. So yeah, having those things are actually great when they have their own thing for their own segments, which, well, you see when actually Kane not being his usual monster self, while he is with Daniel Bryan doing the yes things, or with X-Pac, or with, well, doing segments with Booker T, doing the spinneroonie. For The Undertaker, well, he's this American badass who, well, he is still this dominant person, but he is not speaking on his zombified form. Or guys like Bray Wyatt who actually, well, expands his character more by having this Firefly Funhouse and not just speaking on his former persona who speaks in riddles. But yeah, the thing is, he is still making you guess what he actually thinks. Guys like, well, a lot of guys in the roster who had this type of gimmick. Well, you have like Finn Balor who has this, well, multi-persona, as well the Demon King, and then, well, the Prince. So yeah, there's a lot of adorations in character which makes a wrestler, or, well, a stable, or, well, a storyline much more interesting. Well, people are interesting for who they are in the professional wrestling business, and, well, sometimes the fans, well, they will criticize them based on what they think, based on what they want, and, well, that's what happening. That's what's mostly happening in the community. So yeah, that's the video. Well, I think that somehow is underrated, criminally underrated, but sometimes, well, people think that he is overrated. While I'm on the underrated and overrated, well, He is what he does. He is Brock Lesnar, and while he is this dominant beast. So yeah, thank you for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed this day. I hope you enjoyed this video. And while stay safe. And again, while this is Mikeratto, and peace.